Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I want to continue to reach out to those of us who have reached out to me. I know people are hurting, but of course we have a country at the end of the day. Yesterday, Deputy President was actually declared President-elect by a divided commission sitting at Anniversary Towers. And the Bomas of Kenya declaration is what has been the talk of town. And if the Supreme Court appeal by the Azimio la Umoja team will not be nullified, then most probably this country will be ruled by Deputy President. And if it is nullified, then if the election is nullified, then we might head for a rerun. We'll have to look at that in some other analysis. Yesterday, after the drama at Bomas of Kenya, there was a press briefing, and not even before that, I listened to Deputy President, or rather the President-elect's speech in Bomas of Kenya. After that, I also followed the post-address press briefing in Bomas of Kenya, VIP launch, when he was addressing the country. And it fell short of a presidential suit, because as someone who is a communication person, I read a coded arrogance in that speech. And I think the one thing that the DP Ruto handlers got wrong was that by the time Wafula Chebukati declared him as a president-elect, pending the other court cases that might come on his way, the deputy president would have just decided to remove the campaign jacket and put on a presidential suit. Let me take you back to 2017, when President Uhuru Kenyatta was declared president-elect alongside his deputy. They were in Bomas of Kenya. And when the president made his speech, by that time, remember the NASA team had already decided that they had already rejected the results. But IBC, or rather President Uhuru Kenyatta, immediately took the presidential suit and was speaking the presidential language. In fact, you can't challenge me, but Ruto's handlers were not supposed to even allow him have that press briefing, because following that press briefing within Bomas, after he was declared president-elect, that press briefing was very casual. And someone would wonder whether, is he taking as president-elect, or is he still a presidential candidate? Someone will be wondering what exactly is happening. And I want us to, following that, I want us to listen to this snippet from that press briefing. Then in this analysis, I'll point out what I think need to be pruned from Deputy President Sako. What William Ruto now needs to do as a president-elect. Whether there is going to be a Supreme Court verdict that will come against his way, on his way, or whether not. But because himself constitutionally, unless someone goes to court, William Ruto is the 5th president. and people must take that. Anyway, I know it's difficult for some of us to take that here. But again, that is the truth. So I want us to listen to this clip here.
Because now I am the president-elect, and there has to be a transition. And in that transition, I'm sure there will be a discussion between the current president and myself. Either at the transition committee situation, or I am sure that at some point this evening, maybe tomorrow, we will have a conversation. Maybe I should disclose that this morning I called my competitor, the Honorable Raila Odinga, and I had a discussion with him. And we agreed that whatever the outcome of this election, we should have a conversation. He had offered in his statement, his closing statement in Kasarani, that he would be available for a handshake, you remember? And I said that I'd be available for us to have a cup of tea. Precisely what we have seen over the last 4 years, that we have had a situation where people who are supposed to be in the opposition are actually running matters in the executive. And that is why the people of Kenya voted for me and my team. They want a government that has checks and balances. And they want a government that is accountable. They do not want a mongrel of a government that nobody knows who is in the executive, who is in the opposition, who is doing what. I think the people of Kenya want clarity.
That clip is divided in 3 parts. One, there is a question he's answering on President Uhuru Kenyatta. Number 2, he's answering a question on Raila Odinga handshake. Number 3, he's talking about some sort of a mongrel government. And let me just, before I go down, let me just explain something in the last part. When he was talking about the country needs opposition, I honestly appreciate, and I agree with William Ruto, the president-elect, on that the country needs opposition for the checks and balances. That is why in between 2013 and 2015, it was very effective, because Raila had just come out of government as a prime minister, and he had infrastructure, had networks around the government, and he would be in a position to unearth the bad things that were happening in government. However, there is something I want us to look at here critically, and this is something I want us to see, that there seems to be a bitter bile that is being projected. He's actually trying to project the ills of the last 10 years of the government, or rather the last 5 years, and he has criticized the working relationship between Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta. That, I think, should be, that for me was a bit extreme. And even if you are to defend the need for opposition, but the issue of the word mongrel, doing that was supposed to be in the interviews on campaign trail, when you're being interviewed in some radio station, some TV station. But now, that is why I insist that the people that organized that press briefing, it was not relevant. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. I want to reach out 3 days to the end of 21 days challenge for our sister Sarah Tieno, who is in Kenyatta Hospital suffering acute leukemia and is having a burden medical bill of 1 million Kenyan shillings that has accrued to 1 million Kenyan shillings. We were doing a 50 shillings donation as a challenge, and I want to continue to reach out to us. Furtherly, let's just make this happen. I think we are now at around 600,000, and we are thanking God for that. By the time I'll finish 21 days, I'll tell us, we will just gather everything, because that which I collect and that which also Sarah is collecting on her phone, so we can do that. The 50 shillings challenge, I collected myself. My number is 0710 62 78 89. Now, anything above that, I urge us to, you can also reach out directly to Sarah, and you can send directly to Sarah. Her number is 0716 357 360. If you're touched and you can impact someone's life, I want to believe that politics the high octane politics is now going down. But again, we have the face of humanity. So this is the face of humanity. It is time for Dennis Itumbi to be relegated. I don't know to where. But he must be relegated for two things. Number one, as running government with excess, okay, I think it has not reached to the running government. But if you look at his social media posts, Dennis Itumbi, because he had worked for deputy president during the campaign period, whatever he says in social media or whatever he says can be projected as the voice of the state or the voice of the ruling party. Remember now, if with William Ruto putting the coat of president-elect, then what that means that he is, the UDA party is a ruling party. Now, it must be structured. Communication must be structured. And Dennis Itumbi, remember, has a very bitter venom against the previous administration, Uhuru Kenyatta II administration. And he keeps on referring to Matiang'i as the Ruaraka thief and that, and attacking Kibisho and all these people. This is not going to be very necessary. And the reason why I'm saying this is, number one, he must be relegated for one. Government eats his own people. This is even for himself. He should not, and I think someone should not be cheated that with the president, with William Ruto becoming president, they are free from, they now have immunity from prosecution. There is no immunity that Dennis Itumbi can get. And these people sit together. So for himself, I think because his structure is not, his role must now be defined if he still have to remain within William Ruto's inner circle. Because these are the people that must be taken out of that circle. I have just pointed out one. You can also tell us here, who do you think is in William Ruto's circle that must be pruned out? Because to me, some people have to leave. Now, I want to look at the unity call. The unity call, I think I listened to when DP Ruto was addressing that question because he was asked about the divided country. It should be, the unity call must be addressed in a manner that he is not defensive of the divide. Or number one, he must and he should acknowledge that the country is spread down in the middle. The votes speak volumes. And 50% against 48%, that means it's almost 50 of the population. And the reason why I'm saying his approach to the unity call for me is not satisfactory is he's actually saying that he got more than 25% in 39 counties, which is true. So without asking the other 9 counties, the question here is what is the percentage of population that voted? Now, the fact is the unity call must not be answered on numbers and percentages. You should not say that the country is not united, that I have all the full support simply because I got 30% votes in 39 counties. I think that to me, it's fine. It's a legitimate reason, but I think it should be handled in a manner that it really still speaks to the unity. Because if you defend that the country is not, it's simply saying that the country is not divided. There could be a perception that maybe his president is being forced on people's thought. And that's a very precarious position to sit in as a president-elect. And this would be very important for him just to face. Remember, even at the time the election was, the results were being declared, there was already a split in the commission. That brings me to the card I see. The IBC defense card must be dropped. The reason why this should be dropped is for the people who voted for Azimio la Umoja, there is part of the population that feel the problem was the commission, that the problem was Wafula Chebukate. So because there is people that feel the problem is the IBC, and that has been vindicated by the conduct of the 4 of the 6 commissioners. If you sit in defense of the commission, someone reads a conspiracy. And that would not create the good mood for the president-elect. The President William Samoei Ruto is going to inherit a divided country. And that is something that he must take. Remember, as we talk now, even if we were to go for a rerun, I don't know how things can be. Because that commission might not even exist. You never know. Wafula Chebukati is supposed to retire in January. But the commissioners are already out. So the audit that must be done on the commission should not come now. Lastly, tone down on President Uhuru Kenyatta's rhetoric. I think this is the point. First, I don't believe. He said that he reached out to Raila and they talk, and I don't believe. It might not be true. Okay, and if it is true, he reached out to Raila, what will stop him from reaching out to President Uhuru Kenyatta? Instead, he's saying that they're going to talk to the president somewhere during the transition talks. Okay, this could be true. Of course, that talk will be there. I don't know whether it is the transition authority that will connect the phone, say, now talk to this person, you need to do that. I don't think it should be that way. It should be the gentleman's approach. He should also have the gentleman approach to President Uhuru Kenyatta, because at the end of the day, they have worked together for 10 years, and President is going to hand over power to him. He's going to inherit from President Uhuru Kenyatta. So for him, if he called Raila, there's nothing that was stopping William Ruto, President-elect, from calling President Uhuru Kenyatta. If in the spirit of making those calls, even though I doubt whether he made that call to Raila Odinga, because I know Raila cannot come now and defend that, oh, Ruto did not call me. I don't think. However, it is a good gesture, and I liked it because it showed that he was trying to reach out to Raila Odinga's base. That's the whole point of it. That if he reached out to Raila, then he's trying to send a gesture or a signal that I reached out to Raila, so you guys should become. I'm going to be a unifying factor. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my bold, and I will be back.